Take
Take
two.
two.
DeltaCollegeMentalHealthFair with Holly from Barb Suicide Resource Network. And how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
My editors. I don't know if you know this, but I have a question right
I
now.
was going to ask you. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So like
All you gotta do is follow him on Facebook. You'll know what's happening.
a lot of stuff. Holly works for Barb Smith Suicide Resource,
Suicide Resource and Response Network. You're welcome.
and they do a lot for the community. So why don't you tell us a little bit about all the stuff you do?
So we can start off with the trainings we offer. Multiple trainings help prevent suicide. So if you know somebody that's having suicidal ideations, 2 of our trainings actually get you in touch with the alertness and how to see the signs, see the warning signs, and what to do with the next steps. So Safe Talk is a half-a-day training that creates you to be alert. And then the Assist is a two-day training, which helps teach you how to listen, communicate, see different sides of view when it comes to suicide and what their thoughts are and what's creating those. Then that teaches you how to keep them safe until you can find somebody that is professionally able to take on from there. We also do a lot of awareness campaigns, things like that. We have like the Walk for Hope, Hope Starts Here, Talk Today, which is at the Spirit Hockey game. The Hope, sorry, not Hope. Hope Starts Here, that is coming up in November, and that is for people who have been affected by suicide. So if they've lost somebody, it's one day completely devoted to them. We take them to the Bavarian Inn, we pamper them, we do a bunch of good things for them. We've got a keynote speaker, Sally Spencer Thomas, which is from Colorado, coming out to talk to everybody, things like that. And then on top of that, we also have an advocate program where Barb goes out with the police officer. She's deployed in Saginaw, and she goes to deliver the news of whether it being a suicide, a fatal death, or a baby death, things like that. So she can advocate for those victims that are going through the trauma, whether it be the first couple of hours is all they need, or the next couple weeks, however long it takes for her to help them get through what they're going through, or to find them the help that they need.
So I took the suicide assist training. And after I took it, even with me being a survivor, even with me going through all the things that I had, all the therapists I have done, after taking that class, I wish I could hit the rewind button and have conversations differently with so many people.
Yeah.
Like after I was done with the course, I just thought of all the conversations I've had with people, and I wish I could have had the training 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it really does teach you how to have the communication, how to use the proper language, and how to sit down and talk to the person rather than freaking out and calling 911.
Right.
You know, because that's everybody's first response. We got to call 911.
Right.
Instead of calling 911, let's evaluate the situation. Let's talk about things and it was that 2-day training was definitely impactful. 100%.
That's what it's made to do. Like having a diverse group like what you had over there, where you don't have just like one business coming in and everybody's a social worker. You have social workers, you have chaplains, you have all of these different people from different walks of life, and you get to hear all their opinions. So it makes you kind of change your opinion too on some things. I'm not gonna lie. When I took it, I had somebody answer a question completely opposite of me, and I was wondering why they would answer like that. But then once I got to hear their answer, I started to understand, okay, so this is kind of what this is about. This is to show you that there's different opinions, there's different things that are going to be going on in somebody's head that you might have to deal with.
Right.
So having that diverse group like what you had, it's a fantastic thing to go through. So.
And I think it is so important that you guys are focusing on certain verbiage and maybe focusing more on like de-escalation of a situation rather than immediately making that response of like, oh my gosh, we've got to call somebody else. Because I think that in and of itself can be really intimidating for a lot of people, and they don't want to reach out for help because maybe they've been inpatient before and it was a really bad experience, or maybe they have never had a good relationship with a mental health professional before ever, and or they just don't know what to expect, and that's scary in and of itself. So I think that's really great that you guys are able to kind of, you know, make a scary situation a little bit less scary and focus more like on what's going on for you personally right now?
Right.
Like, how else could we talk about this?
Yeah.
So, and that does kind of lead me to, I know that sometimes you do have to contact people that like are of, like a little bit higher authority, I guess I want to say, but like what kind of ethical guidelines do you guys follow? Like I know that there's like HIPAA and things like that that you guys have to worry about sometimes, but I know that that kind of stuff can kind of go out the window a little bit when it's a crisis situation.
So we are not a medical, so
Mm.
we don't have the HIPAA laws that we have to follow by, which granted, we never swear to secrecy.
Mm.
That's one thing about our network. We cannot promise secrecy. If somebody's telling me something and I am not the person that's going to be able to help them, somebody else is going to.
Absolutely.
I cannot swear secrecy to anybody that I'm talking to at any time, just because if there is more help that's needed, I need to be able to relay that message to the next person that's coming.
Mhm.
So that's where HIPAA does not really get involved with what we do, because it
Sure.
is not medical.
Sure.
So it's somebody's, yes, it is their mental state, but we are not professionals to diagnose or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to that, we realistically, that's one of the first things that you're taught in Safe Talk even, which is those step lower than assist. It's you don't ever swear secrecy.
Mm.
You can say, I will keep it discreet,
Right.
and give them just what information you allow me to give,
Right.
but I have to be able to find somebody to help us.
Absolutely. And I think just kind of establishing that little bit of rapport and that trust there to know that just because, I might have to tell somebody else doesn't mean that I don't want you to feel like you can't share this with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to create a safe space for that person to talk to you. So
Mhm.
once you have that safe space established where they're willing to open up to you, it makes a world of difference. And then you
Absolutely.
can actually find the help that they need.
Yeah.
The SVSU walk
Yeah.
that is now over, that was super, super cool. I did my first walk this year and I was not expecting the amount of people. Like there was thousands of people. And
Wow.
we walked out of the
The courtyard.
courtyard and we started walking down the road. And by the time I got to the corner, I looked behind and there was still people coming out and there was people ahead of me. Like there was
The video,
thousands
yeah, the
of
video
people.
that you shared with me, I shared it with Barb, and she's like, "That's incredible. That was such a great video," because you could literally see that we had over 1,800 people there that day.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So
What a huge turnout for that then.
It,
That's
it was
incredible.
massive, and it's so moving because it's all people that have either been affected by suicide in some sort of way, or they're there supporting somebody that has been affected by suicide. So it gets bigger and bigger every year.
And I think that just goes to prove how this isn't just an individual problem. It's
Right.
going to affect people in your life that are close to you. It's going to affect people in your life that wished they were closer to you
Right.
and wished that they could help you. So I think that that's just really moving that it
Yeah.
was able to kind of show how wide that spread.
Right. Like
Yeah.
they say suicide affects one out of every, I think it was 6 people. Don't quote me on that part. But then when you actually think about it, like when my best friend's son passed away, it didn't just affect her and her immediate family. It affected a huge spider web of people. So
Right.
that's where we came up with the Stay Tomorrow Needs You, where we're now once a year reaching out to 450 people that either know us or know of the Stay Tomorrow Needs You fundraiser. So it actually affects way more when there's just one suicide out there. So
Well, and I think it kind of really speaks to itself too, how it's not only just the people being affected by suicide have a huge, kind of outreach, but all of these different services can all kind of reach out to each other. And, you guys might provide one side kind of services, and then you say, hey, we know somebody over here at, whatever else service that would be, I think would be really helpful for you in this case. And I think that's what events like this are really super great for, is people are just able to network and share like, hey, just because you're working with so-and-so over here, you might not have a super good, connection with them. We have,
let's try this.
we have so many other things that are available.
And that's another thing that our network does, is we are a resource hub. So we've got a lot of different resources in our back pocket that if they're not willing and able at the time, they don't have the capacity to take in another client, we have others that we have that are right there that are willing to do it. So
There's been times that even since we've known each other, I have met somebody and was like, listen, I don't know where to go for help, but I need help. and I pick up my phone and I dial Holly and I just give the phone to the person and I let them talk to Holly.
Right.
Because you have a plethora of mental health resources in your back pocket for not just the Tri-County area, but through the whole state of Michigan.
Right.
And like that person later came up to me and was like, I don't think I would be here today if you did not give me that phone.
Yeah.
And like, you're not just suicide assist training people. You're not just safe talk training. You're giving resources of all these kinds of all these different people for the community. I think that's probably one of the biggest things for the company.
Yeah.
It's not just suicide assist training. It's you guys do everything.
We're training people to save lives, and that's where my job is different from what people think about this network. They think it's suicide, like that's what we're talking about all the time, but we're actually teaching the CPR for a heart attack. We're teaching you the way to save a life from somebody who is having thoughts of suicide. So these trainings and all the resources that we have, like there's the whole network itself is one huge life-saving tool, is a good way to look at it. So I don't have to, like, I feel bad saying this, like I don't have to deal with a whole lot of the mental health, somebody struggling a lot. Mine are more or less somebody calling to get a resource or somebody calling to get a training, because that's what we really focus on, is the trainings, to help people realize that there is somebody out there that can help.
Absolutely.
And when you take these trainings, we actually hand you a whole resource sheet that you can take with you for your county. I've got probably at least 25 to 30 different counties that I have all the resources for listed for everybody.
Right. And I
So-
think that's what's so incredible about mental health as like a field and as a whole, that as things are growing, there are people who have specialties in this one very specific subset or area.
Yep.
And, you know, they can exhaust every single resource that they have for you specifically in that one particular area. And then there's someone else with another particular area that can do the exact same thing.
Right.
And it's really, really amazing that there are all these different little subsets and different little areas, and it all just encompasses to better people's mental health and well-being.
Absolutely, yeah.
So like you said, you're not just preventing suicide, you're literally saving lives and changing things. So it's incredible.
Thank you.
You have to do the walk next year. So.
I got to do the walk. Yeah, I really should. And I feel
We
bad.
should get your whole psych club to volunteer.
Do it.
Ooh.
You can do a team, but I need you to volunteer.
Oh.
You know,
I volunteered this year and now I'm booked for life. But it was fun. Like I still got when you guys did the ribbon, the
chains, which we got some down there. Did you see the rock?
Just see those.
Yeah.
Those
So
are-
we took more because we still had some left over from the walk. So there's chain links that we took to the P2P our kickoff for P2P in Midland County. So that was really cool. Like the kids all got to write either a saying or a name or something on them, and then they connected all the chains and they got all hold them up and spread them all out. So
Oh, that outreach
So-
and spider web imagery just keeps going.
Yep,
So
exactly.
That's fantastic.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk to us about?
no, I think we did pretty good.
All right. Thank you, Holly. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing.
No problem.